The systems and total cost approaches to logistics. Logistics is a classic example of the systems approach to business problems. From a company-wide perspective, the systems approach indicates that a company's objectives can be realized by recognizing the mutual interdependence of the major functional areas of the firm, such as marketing, production, finance, and logistics. One implication of the systems approach is that the goals and objectives of the major functional areas should be compatible with the company's goals and objectives. This means that one logistics system does not fit all companies because goals and objectives vary from one firm to another. As such, the logistics system of an organization that emphasizes customer satisfaction is likely different from the logistics system of an organization that emphasizes cost minimization. A second implication is that decisions made by one functional area should consider the potential implications on other functional areas. For example, one consequence of pursuing the marketing concept, which focuses on satisfying customer needs and wants, is often a marked increase in the number of stock-keeping units offered for sale by many companies. An increased number of SKUs provides customers with more choices, which customers often want. Alternatively, from a logistics perspective, the proliferation of SKUs creates challenges such as more items to identify, more items to store, and more items to track, which increases the chances of mistakes which customers don't like. An example of misidentification involves a consumer products company that mistakenly assigned the same product code to a 3-pack, 6-pack, and 12-pack of a particular product it sold. Imagine the reaction of the customer who ordered a 3-pack of the product, only to receive a 6-pack or a 12-pack of it. Just as the major functional areas of a firm should recognize their interdependence, so too should the various activities that comprise the logistics function. The logistics manager should balance each logistics activity to ensure that none is stressed to the point where it becomes detrimental to others. This can be illustrated by referring to Figure 1, which indicates that business logistics is made up of materials management and physical distribution. Intrafunctional logistics attempts to coordinate materials management and physical distribution in a cost-efficient manner that supports an organization's customer service objectives. Materials management and physical distribution can be coordinated in many ways. One way is by using the same truck to deliver materials and component parts and to pick up finished goods. Although this may appear to be little more than common sense, and the authors believe that common sense is one of the keys to being an effective logistics manager, consider the case of the company that used the same trucking company to deliver materials and parts to one of its production plants as well as to take finished products from the facility. Unfortunately, one truck would arrive early in the morning to deliver the materials and parts, and another truck would arrive in the late afternoon to pick up the finished products. How could this happen? It's quite simple. The inbound logistics group and the outbound logistics group were unaware that they were using the same trucking company. The two groups never communicated even though they worked in the same building. Logistics managers use the total cost approach to coordinate materials management and physical distribution in a cost-efficient manner. This approach is built on the premise that all relevant activities in moving and storing products should be considered as a whole. Use of the total cost approach requires an understanding of cost trade-offs. In other words, changes to one logistics activity cause some costs to increase and others to decrease. Importantly, an understanding of logistical cost trade-offs recognizes that the costs of certain logistical activities generally move in opposite directions. As an example, a decrease in transportation costs is often associated with an increase in warehousing costs. The key to the total cost approach is that all relevant logistical cost items are considered simultaneously when making a decision. For example, expedited transportation, such as air freight, will increase a company's transportation costs. At the same time, expedited transportation leads to a faster order cycle, which allows the receiving company to hold lower levels of inventory, thus reducing both its inventory carrying costs and warehousing costs. The total cost approach evaluates if the decreased inventory and warehousing costs are greater than the increased costs of expedited transportation. If so, the company might consider using expedited transportation, because the total logistics costs are less than the total costs of the existing system. When used in the logistics decision-making process, the total cost concept approach forms what is commonly called the total logistics concept. This concept is unique not because of the activities performed, but because of the integration of all activities into a unified whole that seeks to minimize distribution costs in a manner that supports an organization's strategic objectives. The total logistics concept can be extended to include a firm's suppliers and customers, such as in supply chain management, which will be covered in other slide.